Hey guys, so today we're checking out the Rugged Ridge Elite Taillight Guards in Texture Black, fitting all 2018 and newer JL Wranglers with the factory LED taillights and without the factory tailgate reinforcement or hinge casting. Now these are going to be a great choice for the JL owner who is looking for small functional mods for their JL that's not only going to be functional but also going to look good while doing it. Now this is going to do a great job at protecting the taillight from any brush or branches if you take your Jeep out on the trail, giving you some really good coverage on the front with this graded look here, and you're also going to have some coverage around the side. This is also going to be great if you don't take your JL off-road and you're just looking for some extra protection from any kick-up on the street, or if you're just looking for an off-road look. These are going to provide a pretty rugged look, especially with the black texture powder coat finish on top. Now speaking of the construction, these will be made of a cast aluminum, so they are going to be durable, and that texture black powder coat finish is going to protect from any corrosion on the aluminum underneath. Now not to mention, these also are going to have a very good fit, considering that they are cast, so they are going to fit very well and tight to the taillight, which I personally like. I think it gives it a very clean look, while also again providing that functionality that you're looking for. Now with all of that being said, these are going to come in at roughly $120, and I think that that's a great price for what you're getting out of the kit. Now these are going to provide full coverage not only for the front, but it is going to be a two-piece design, so you are getting some coverage in the back and the side as well. Now in comparison to some other choices on the page, there are other options set up very similar to this. However, some other choices may come in a different color. So instead of a texture black that you see here, they may come in a number of different colors, pink, green, blue, or so on, to match with your personal color scheme. I personally think if you're just looking for something rugged, simple, and to the point, then this textured black is really going to get that done. Now there are other choices that are a two-piece design similar to this, however they may not provide as much coverage, and then there are other options on the page that are just going to be for inlays that are going to give you more of the aesthetic and not as much as the functionality and protection that these do. So again, comes down to personal preference as far as the design and the functionality is concerned when it comes to your Jeep, but if you're looking for ultimate protection for your taillights, you're looking for a very rugged design, and you're looking for something that's also just simple and to the point like I mentioned, then these are a great choice. Now when it comes to install, I'm going to give this a very easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you no longer than 30 minutes to get the job done with some very basic hand tools. So speaking of the install, let's jump into that now. Tools that I used for this install were a pair of scissors, a 3/8" drive ratchet, a soft pry tool, Phillips head screwdriver, a 3-inch extension, a T40 Torx socket, and a 4mm Allen socket. So in order to install our taillight guards, we do have to remove our taillight. So we're going to head inside our tailgate area or our cargo area. You're going to need a T40 Torx socket, or you can use the T40 Torx bit out of the JL toolkit. And you're also going to need a flathead or a soft pry tool. So now that we're inside our cargo area, on the right and left-hand side, depending on which side you're starting with, there's going to be a small trim piece that we can just pull up, and that will be our access point for our bolt that's holding in our taillight. So next we can remove this screw using that T40 Torx socket or Torx bit. I'm using a small extension just to give myself a little bit of room. And once it is loosened up, we can take the ratchet off and just unscrew it by hand. Once that screw is removed, what we can do is just pull back on the taillight. If your taillight is brand new, you might need to tug on it a little bit harder than I did. But then at this point, what we can do is just disconnect this harness here. We want to make sure that that locking tab is all the way up, then we can depress the clip and pull back. Now that we have our taillight out of the Jeep, we do have to take off this back bracket because we are going to relocate it behind the back part of our taillight guard. So we need to remove the 3 screws that are holding it on. I'm going to use a Phillips head screwdriver to do that. Once those 3 are out, we can just give it a good wiggle back. And set this aside. So our next step is just to place our taillight in the front portion of our taillight guard. As you can see, this is going to be labeled as right. They will be side specific, so just keep that in mind. And the back are going to be side specific as well. So really, all we have to do is just pop this down on into place. This should fit with the sensor or this guard right over on the side here. And then the lower part is going to stick to the lower part of the taillight. So now that our taillight is set in the front of our taillight guard, what we can do is attach the back. So this is just going to place right over. You want to make sure that the wire is down at the bottom or through the taillight guard and not in the seam here. Then on each of the points where the front and the back of the taillight guard meet, what we can do is take our provided Allen head bolts. We can drop that down on in and thread it in with our 4mm Allen socket or a 4mm Allen key. I'm also using a small extension just to give myself a little bit of room here, and we can tighten that up. Then we can repeat that for the two other mounting points. Next, we can take our plastic mounting piece that came with our factory taillight that we originally took off. We can pop that back into place, lay that over our mounting points, and we can take our new provided screws that are a little bit longer and thread those into the back of our taillight. I'm using a Phillips head screwdriver for this. You can use the same one that we used to take the original screws out. So at this point, what we can do is take our provided weather stripping and attach this to the back of our taillight. This is just going to seal the taillight guard to the Jeep itself. So you are going to get a long strip provided by Rugged Ridge. I'm just going to trim this up. I'm only going to put it in specific places. You can go ahead and peel the backing off. And just pop it into place. Once we're finished with our weather stripping, we can head over to the Jeep and plug our light back into place, lock it down, and we can pop our taillight back into position. So making sure that you have a hand on your taillight because it's most likely not going to stay in place because there is a guard there. What we're going to do is take our bolt and we're going to thread that back into place with our T40 Torx. Now once you have it semi-threaded, you can take your hand off the taillight. It should be held on pretty good at that point. Then we can tighten this up again with the T40 Torx and a ratchet. Now I would like to mention that this bolt or screw is plastic, so I would recommend not to over torque it because it can break. It is spring loaded, so it's going to continue to feel like it's not tightened down, but once you have enough turns on it and you feel a little bit of tension, you should be good to go. Then we can pop our cover back into place and we're all set. So then we just repeat that process on the other side and you're all finished. So that is going to wrap it up for my review and install. Make sure you like and subscribe for more videos and products just like this, and always keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.